Welcome to Stout Conversations, where every week we sit down with creative thinkers in the craft beer industry and beyond. Your hosts, Ken and April, live and work in a 24-foot RV, traveling the country in search of great stories around a great beer. Starting out as a mining town in the 1800s, Georgetown, Colorado has evolved into a true gold mine of adventures, including the beer with the view. This week we talk with Steve Skalski, owner of Guanella Pass Brewing Company, where the beer is as beautiful as the Rocky Mountains that surround it, and the community is as welcoming as a warm hug the second you walk in the door. Oh, and the best part? Parker, the snow dog.
All right, up here at Guanella Pass in Georgetown, Colorado, is Steve Skalski. So Steve, Georgetown, Colorado, pretty small town. A lot of people, even in Colorado, a lot of people don't know Georgetown. How'd you end up with a brewery in Georgetown, Colorado?
Well, you bring up a good point. My wife is a native Denverite and been there all her life. And it's amazing how many people we know down in Denver even that have never been through Georgetown, or they think of Georgetown as being the traffic circle where the bathrooms are.
Or a little Christmas shopping spot,
exactly,
right? For a couple of weeks.
But Georgetown is actually a great town. We've been open for a little bit over a year and a half now. The town itself has been very supportive of putting a brewery in here. We're 10 minutes away from Loveland Ski Area. We are right on Guanella Pass. So it's just a great spot. People are discovering Georgetown more and more every day, and especially now that there's a brewery here, and we're having a good time being up here. When we got this building, we had to build it all out. This is an old antique shop. We had to do a lot of demolition work and put floors in for the brewery and put all the tanks and fermenters in the brew house. So I was living right here 2 blocks away. My commute was awesome. The only time I ever had a traffic jam was when there was a bunch of deer walking across the road, and I had to wait for them.
That's mountain life, folks. Deer. That's your traffic jam.
Right. So we still live in the mountains. We're actually in Evergreen right now, only because of family situations with kids in school. But Georgetown is got a great vibe to it.
Are there a lot of regulars around town here that come through,
absolutely.
In addition to all the, obviously you get a lot of traffic from people coming up doing the mountain thing because there's so many things to do up in the mountains.
We've got a great locals crowd here. We have what we call the Bighorn Sheep Guild up here at the brewery. The Bighorn Sheep Guild is our mug club, and you buy into it. When I first started, I said, well, we're here in a small little sleepy town called Georgetown. I'm not sure how many people will actually want to buy into a mug club. So we did 25, then we did 50, then we did 75, then we did 100, then we did 125, and we're up to 150 now. And
it's a pretty good sized mug club.
And we have and we have a waiting list. So I think that's just and approximately 80% of those folks, if not a little more, are locals, meaning they're from Clear Creek County. They come in all the time. and an interesting statistic for the Bug Club, for the Bighorn Sheep Guild, is there's about 1,000 people living in Georgetown. If you look at about 150 Bug Club members, it's a pretty good percent of the whole population that come to the brewery.
Now, what percent of those are also in the A Basin Bug Club?
Some are.
I'm sure a lot are, because that's a big thing up there.
Yeah.
You're not that far off from A Basin.
Nope. We've had people come in. They specifically said we're in the Bug Club at A Basin, and we want to join your Bug Club.
So when they leave A Basin, they get caught in the traffic along I-70. They pull off at Georgetown, and they got the Mug Club here too. So
it's all
pick up right where you left off.
It's all strategic. You got to just be able to get beer wherever you're going.
So what's kind of the approach to the beer here? I mean, you're in a unique situation being up in the mountains.
Yeah,
you've got all these great breweries on this side, and you guys are in a good spot to be that one that it's the last one before you get up to Winter Park, A Basin, Loveland.
Right.
And then you're also the first one once people come back through that awful drive through the tunnel sometimes.
Well, we are proud to be the biggest brewery in Georgetown because we are the only brewery in Georgetown.
It is a massive brewery for Georgetown, let me tell you.
But style-wise, based on all of the different kinds of people we get up here in Georgetown, we try to have a very broad selection here. So when you come into this small brewery up here in Georgetown, we have 14 faucets behind the bar, so we have the ability to have 14 beers coming off tap at any given time. We have 10 beers that are permanent taps, and we've got 4 beers that we rotate. And as you can kind of see in front of us, we do your standard pale ales, IPAs. We've got 3 different IPAs. Our brewer is very much into Belgian beers. He's on that use a great Belgian yeast that has good results. We have a Tripel right now that we just brewed for the first time. Tastes really good. And we've got the dark beers. Our black ale is something we did when we first opened. We thought it would be a rotating tap, but people keep coming in and asking for it. The brown ale has been very popular. Up here at the brewery, we have our official mascot is Parker the Snow Dog. It's a Big Bernese mountain dog that's here in the area. He's also the official snow dog of Love and Ski area. Okay. And we named a beer after him, the Bernese Mountain Brown. But it's a very delicious beer, and we've got our stouts.
Well, and I mean, you kind of went with the whole mountain theme around the whole brewery too, because all the beers are named that way as well, right?
Yeah, we've named them after several different peaks. Mount Snicktau, Snowshoer, Dark Saison, but you can't say that real fast 5 times. Mix it up. We have that's named after a mountain. Season Pass Pale Ale is named after a lift ticket, or a season pass.
Right.
So that's not a mountain. Kataka Mountain is our standard IPA. If you ever lose track of the time, the bell tower reminds you.
Yeah, we got the bell tower. Now that's when you know you're in a cool little mountain town, is you got the bell tower to remind you what time it is.
Yeah, so we do keep a mountain theme going here as much as we can.
Well, and that just makes sense. That's where you're at, and you embrace the community you're in, and I think that kind of comes back to you when you do that.
Yeah.
So looking at these beers, I mean, we've got 13 beers now I see in front of us. Derek brought us out another one while we were sitting here talking. So, wow, where to dive in?
All the beers are what we like to drink ourselves, and so.
That's a coincidence, because I like to drink all these beers too.
Yeah, and the voice behind the camera likes to drink beer too.
Oh, yeah.
So stay off camera. Stay off camera.
But one of the brewery favorites is our Rye Saison.
That's one I saw on your list on the website that I was like, man, I really want to try that one.
When we get people in that say, yeah, I don't really like the hoppy beers, nor do I really like the malty beers, we direct them to that beer. It's got a real nice effervescent finish on it, very tasty. The Tripel we just brewed, I'm going to brag about that because that came out very nice. It's called our ptarmigan Tripel. Ptarmigan is a bird up on Loveland that's very much popular in Loveland ski area.
Should we taste these while we talk about them?
Yeah, I want to try the Rye Saison. Please.
Yeah.
Let's do some tasting.
And I'm going to do the dark Saison. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, cheers.
That blends so well.
Yep.
It's not too much Saison, too much rye. That's a nice step for somebody who isn't too familiar for craft beer, maybe comes from drinking just some of the regular mass-produced beers. That's a really nice
beer. Well, thank you.
It's a good gateway drug to the other beers.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say drug, I should say gateway beer.
Gateway beer sounds good.
Gateway beer sounds better, yeah.
Do you have a favorite style or a favorite beer that you brewed here? Or
my go-to beers really depend upon the day and my mood and what I really want. So the fact that we do so many different beer styles, and we all do them in a way where I like to say they're very drinkable beers.
Yeah.
So we don't our IPAs we don't have any really strong West Coast IPAs. We don't have any hazy IPAs here, but we do have our double IPA, which is our liquid gold. That's one of my go-to beers when I'm here. The double
right
is
here, I
right
think.
there. Try that.
For sure.
IPA lovers really like the taste. We also have a rye IPA. That's one of my favorites. It's our Iraqi rye IPA, named after the tallest peak in New Zealand. The reason why is because when we first opened, We didn't really know what we were doing, and we had a guy from New Zealand help us brew this batch, and he offered the recipe to us, and we exchanged a few recipes. The rye takes a little bit of the hop forwardness out of the beer, and it just makes it a very smooth drinking beer.
It is, and your double IPA actually is probably dangerously drinkable too, considering it's a double.
Yes, it's a little north of 8% ABV, so we do serve it in a 13-ounce glass as opposed to a full pint.
Do you want one of these?
I will try our. Which one is this? Let me.
That's the double
This
that
is
she's
the
got
double.
right
I'm
there.
going to try the double.
And that actually, yeah, like you said, I don't think, at least I've tried a couple there, the rye IPA and the double, and nothing's like that hop bomb, that
Right.
for years that was like, how hoppy can you make an IPA was kind of the goal for a lot of people, and I think most people are kind of over that now, and it's like, how can I make it flavorfully hoppy? And I found that too with the rye. I think it plays really nice in an IPA, just because it has some of the qualities of a hop. The rye does. I think some of the I kind of hesitate to say bitterness, but it almost has that bitterness quality of a hop without being too bitter. And I think it plays well in an IPA.
That's a good way to describe it. Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah.
I got some.
You're fine.
I got some folks. Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty
I
good.
got
How
these
the hell
guys
are you?
from Strange Craft Brewery down in
Oh,
Denver.
really? We got that is the fun part of craft beer, like having other brewers come around to your brewery. I
absolutely.
mean, that's got to be, to me, not owning a brewery, although we are home brewers a little bit. Some of the funnest stuff for me as a home brewer is brewing with my friends and people that are just people I meet that want to brew, and like you get to do it on a level with people that really know their stuff, and you get people stopping by your brewery, like you've got Strange Craft here, right?
Well, Tim from Strange Craft.
That's another great
I'm
brewery
honored
from
to
down
have-
in Denver. They make
Yeah.
great beer.
I'm honored to have him because he was my original inspiration when I was thinking of becoming a
really?
craft brewery. I went to his he was one of the first craft brewery tap rooms I went to, and I looked around and I said, this is kind of cool. I'd like to do this. So I'm really glad he's up here hanging out before
That's-
I end the month.
Well, that's the biggest thing we found from all of our travels, and even before we started traveling, we were in Denver. So every time we go to a brewery, it's just the connections with people that you meet, and it always seems to be around a really good beer.
Yeah.
And nobody's
so much.
afraid of anybody, or
The black,
Yeah.
the black, or
While we're talking, I just want to make sure you keep drinking.
this one goes on. This is a black ale, which
This is
is
our
known as a lot of things, like a Cascadian ale. You might have heard of it, right? Or sometimes it's called a black IPA, right?
Yes, sometimes it is. This is our Saxon Mountain. Our Saxon Mountain Stout is one our standard stout. We've just done an Imperial Stout too.
That is so much in my wheelhouse because I love dark beers. I love stouts, porters, Belgian quads. But I love IPAs too, and these bring the worlds together for me.
So this is our
This is
Russian
Imperial?
Imperial Stout. The name of it is Russian Investigation,
Good timing.
and we are currently.
Where'd you come
Quiet.
up with that name? And we're not going to go down that road.
It's apolitical. It doesn't matter what side effects are on. It's Russian Investigation, and then we're currently aging this beer in two whiskey barrels, bourbon barrels, and we're doing one with a little black cherry in it. The other one it's just going to be a straight up whiskey barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout.
Are you doing that with any particular distillery? From the barrels?
The barrels here are from Breckenridge Distillery.
I thought that might be the case. Breckenridge is
Sticking in the mountains, yeah.
Yeah, that's a wonderful distillery, and they have a couple of really nice breweries up in that area too. Broken Compass is a favorite. And
Oh yeah. Yep.
I'm sure you.
Ford has got a lot of things going on up at Broken Compass, and I'm not sure. Obviously everyone is given Outer Range a lot of accolades. You've got Highside Brewery up there. I think Axe and his team is doing a great job up there, and then Baker's Brewery up in
That's a good
right
one
in
too.
Silver,
Yeah.
Silver,
Silverton. I think those guys are doing a wonderful
Silverthorne.
job too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
There's so many breweries up there.
But I'm-
it's amazing in the mountains that there are so many breweries.
Yeah,
I think
and-
a lot of people miss that coming, that go up and go skiing and stuff, they don't realize how many breweries there are right there at their doorstep.
Angry James just recently, I think they're having a birthday.
I think they're turning just 1 year old, right?
Yeah, so it goes, we're not,
And how old is Guanella Pass right now as a brewery?
The brewery was opened in Memorial Weekend of 2017, so we're a little bit over a year and a half old now.
Okay.
So we'll have
your youngsters up here too.
Exactly. We'll have our 2-year birthday this Memorial Weekend.
It's a good way to stay young as you get older, right?
Who says I'm getting older?
I'm getting older. That's what I was talking about. Nobody else is. It's just me. I'm getting older. I feel like that. But yeah, these are, wow. Really good stuff. This Russian Imperial Stout is.
Yeah, we're very proud.
But they're all really approachable beers. Even the big beers are like pretty easy to drink, which can be scary sometimes.
Tell me more about your wheat.
So the wheat beer we love. A little theme going is we like to use the rye grain. The wheat beer has a little bit of rye grain in it. So if you're a wheat lover, you come in, you say, I really like your wheat. I'm not sure why, but I really like your wheat. And if you're not a real big wheat person, you'll drink our wheat and say, I like this wheat. So it's something that probably wheat people will say it's different, and it's different enough to make it unique and very drinkable. So.
Yeah, it's I would say maybe a little lighter than like a straightforward wheat beer. Obviously you have your wits and things that are a little on the light and tart side and stuff, but this is just a nice drinkable wheat beer.
Yeah. Well,
really good.
This is our the name of this beer is our Sugarloaf Peak Wheat. I will note that we have 2 beers that we bottle up by hand here in the brewery. One is our Bernie's Mountain Brown Ale. And I'm going to pass that to you.
We haven't had that one yet.
That would be great. I'm a huge brown fan.
And then we also have our Season Pass Pale Ale, which I think you've already may have sipped on yet.
Yes.
Both of those beers are available up at Loveland Ski Area in bottles at the Raskeller, and they're on the Wedge Bar. The train was serving our Sugarloaf Peak Wheat and our
That's
Season Pass
Georgetown Loop train.
Georgetown Loop Railroad.
So did you find it difficult at all getting your new brews into different businesses, or was it pretty simple when you asked them, or how was that process
Well,
for you?
the local businesses such as Georgetown, they went out of their way because they wanted to support a brewery that's now in their zip code, and their offices are in they consider themselves to be in the Georgetown area. So they've been absolutely phenomenally supportive of us and carrying our beers. Same thing with the train. The train is right up the road here, and they carry 2 beers, 2 craft beers at least on the trains. They're Tommy Knockers and us. Tommy Knockers has got great presence up at Loveland, as well as some of the other bigger brands. But it's really fun to be part of their business operations as a local craft brewery, especially alongside with Tommy Knockers. Just feel like we're being embraced here.
Well, and that's cool. That's like, as much as like the beer community is about community, and that like you could travel to a whole nother state, go into a brewery, and once they find out you run a brewery in Colorado, they're going to be like, they're open arms to almost everybody anyway, but they're going to embrace you and probably show you around and like, hey, come try this stuff we got in the back we haven't put out on tap yet.
Yeah.
Things like that. So, but I think the mountain community is very similar as people who embrace the mountain lifestyle. They usually embrace each other because it's a hard life sometimes, especially the middle of winter can be tough sometimes, and you lean on each other.
Well, I always joke that we're in the beer business and we're not saving lives.
Yeah.
However, as many people as we've had come up here and sincerely say, we're so glad you're here, we're so glad you've opened up here, this is exactly what the town needed, and they've been great supporters of us.
We've come across several breweries, like the smaller kind of off the beaten path breweries, that have the same idea behind the small towns. They come in with the passion, and they're revitalizing a community and helping a community, and not even realizing that they're doing that, and then completely fully embrace that idea of helping out a community.
Yeah, you can revitalize a community, and the brewing industry as a whole seems to reach out to people who need a helping hand sometimes. And I bring that up a little bit because we talked to Andrew over at Intrepid Sojourner,
Right.
who you know very well.
Exactly.
You guys brewed a beer together. You did the Resilience IPA that Sierra Nevada started to help with the campfire, just that tragedy in California.
Yep.
That there's a lot of people that need some help out there, and you guys were one of the breweries of many who stepped up, and you brewed with Intrepid to.
Yeah, as well as
help them out.
co-brewed with us as well. So we had
And co-brew.
three breweries. But yeah, Andrew and I like to joke from Intrepid Sojourner Brewery. We met online.
Yeah.
We were both taking the Siebel
It's
class
a match
together,
meant to happen.
for brewing, and so.
Match made in technical wonderland.
But he is the senior brewery now because he actually opened 6 days before we opened. So I bow down to him.
We just love the community, and I think that's why we started doing what we're doing. And so we kind of came up with this theme of living a stout life, which is it's about the beer, but it's not about the beer all the time. It's about people. And one thing we like to do when we talk to people is say, if you're looking at living a stout life, what would you consider a stout life? Living your stout life. Are you living your stout life, and what does it look
How
like?
would you define
Or
stout
how would
life?
you define it?
I would. I would define my style life as doing obviously what you're passionate about, what you love to do. Waking up every morning, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm really looking forward to doing whatever I'm going to do today. I like the fact that, as human beings, we go through lives, we go through careers, we go through jobs. And as you get older, not that I'm older than you guys are, but I think I am.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. We're probably right there.
As you get older, for me, it's all about making the best use of your remaining non-refundable years. Every year, every month, every week, every day, every minute is non-refundable. You're never going to get that back. So when you're young, yeah, we got all that time. You got a whole bunch in the bank. We got a whole bunch of non-refundable hours left. Not so much anymore. So you really got to make sure you're doing what you want to do while you've still got those years left. So here we are.
Say cheers to that
Well,
one.
with that,
Pick a beer you love.
pick
I
a
love
beer.
this
I think
Tripel.
we all need to pick a good beer
Try
here.
We haven't
the
tried that one.
try
I'll
your
try. Let's all
Or the
try a
pale
different
ale.
one.
Your Royal Highness English Pale Ale.
Let's go. This is the brown
Anybody
back
have the
because I don't want to lose track. And
Try the dark.
Saison.
should jump.
Haha.
And
Which
I
one
would-
do you want?
You need
I would do
something.
the pale season pass pale ale.
And I will say, cheers to that. That is a great definition of a stout life.
Oh, good. Thank you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There are new episodes with new conversations every Sunday night. Be sure to subscribe and click the little gray bell so you don't miss out. We'd love to hear from you, so please leave us a comment below. Not only will this help us get found on the search engines, but it will also help us create a better experience for you, our viewers. On your marks, get set, go.
On your marks, good say.
I just lost my whole train of thought. Cut.
It's okay.
Edit. I'm editing all that out.
Don't edit that out. Come on. That's good stuff right there. I got my brownie points on camera.